It's interesting because I've been thinking about all of your work and uh, what comes up so often for me, and this is my interpretation, and so much. There's been so much discussion of your work, but will there's an iron will that you have, and I'm wondering with these film productions, which are you know, impossible to pull off. You're in the jungle. It's things are collapsing. Your main actor, Klaus Kinski, wants to murder you. You want to murder him. It all sounds impossible, and yet you always keep going. And I'm wondering,
I have
is
to
that
move a ship over a mountain?
in Fitzcarraldo, you have to move a ship over a mountain, and you've made work about how difficult the work was. There are documentaries about how impossible the project is. And what I keep coming back to are a couple of themes, and one is will, iron will. And I'm wondering, was that something, in your opinion, is that in your soul, or is in your genetics, or was that something that somehow was the product of having so little growing up?
I think it's not a correct description to point at iron will. Because you can dissuade me from my will with a real good argument. And I do the doable. I really do the doable. I knew I could move a ship over a mountain in the jungle.
Okay.
It can be done, and I knew I would be able to do it, although nobody believed in it anymore. And you become very solitary when there are 800 people around and nobody believes in it. And the next town where you can buy a torchlight battery is 800 kilometers away. So you become very solitary, but it's not, I wouldn't call it iron will. It's a very, very clear vision.
Yeah. Okay.
A very deep vision in me. And I knew moving a ship over a mountain would be a great metaphor, something like Moby Dick.
Yes. Yeah.
The white whale, something embedded very deep in our soul, in our collective soul, probably. And I can articulate it. And all of a sudden, everybody understands it. Although I must confess, metaphor for what I cannot explain.
Well, everyone can have their own interpretation because
it's better that way. Yeah.
We've all, whatever, in our lives, we've all pulled a giant ship over a mountain.
Sure.
And when I say that, I mean we've all battled with something that most people thought, well, that can't be done.
Yeah.
I'm curious if, when I look at your work, I think, did you have, you seem very solid the whole time, even during all this insanity and chaos, you seem very solid. And I think, do you have a good mask, a good poker face, or did you feel true despair?
If there's only a mask, it would get cracks and it would become visible that it's only posing.
Right.
You have to have it in you.
Yeah.
And so what can I say? It has carried me that I'm just myself, and essentially myself in many of the situations.
There's another theme that you love to explore, which is madness, and it comes up again and again and again. And I was noticing it even came up in so many of your films. There's that line between someone being obsessed and have they gone mad? Have they lost control of themselves? You've worked with people who could clinically be called mad, if that's a real clinical diagnosis anymore. When you did your documentary Encounters at the End of the World and you're in Antarctica, I remember very clearly there's a scene where you're looking at the penguins and you start to wonder, have they gone mad?
Or at least one.
At least one. Has there one penguin gone mad? But I thought, well, Werner Herzog went all the way to Antarctica and he's looking at penguins and he's still wondering about madness. Is this, is it right that is a true, that's a theme that you like to try and mine or explore?
Yes, it's not only madness, but a state where we can be out or beyond ourselves, like an ecstasy, like religious mystics in the late Middle Ages. Or it could be a penguin. I asked a penguin researcher and I was told he has not spoken to anyone for 24 years. So I said, I will be the first one. And I tell him some things that he has never heard. Why do, for example, species of ants create colonies of slaves of some sort of lice that they milk for droplets of sugar?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? And why does a chimp not saddle the goat and ride off into the sunset of Death Valley or Monument Valley?
Yeah.
Why does this happen? Is there insanity among animals, not only among people? Is there insanity among penguins? Mm-hmm. Because I observed a penguin that marches right into the continent, and it's 5,000 kilometers of ice and mountains. And there's no way to turn the penguin around. You can do that. And you shouldn't do it, by the way. But you can turn it around. It will immediately, stubbornly march into his death, into the interior of the continent. Not to the water, not to the colony. So what is going on? I've been fascinated by this.